Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Live from Super Soul Farm, this is Wisdom of the Sages, a daily spiritual podcast with your host, Raghunath, and co-host and senior educator of the Bhakti Center in New York, Kostubadas. Welcome to the show. This is episode 1433. Here with Miss Mara, spinning the dial. She's not feeling too good today.
I'm okay.
You're okay? I'm feeling a little bit sicky, I think. And, and with our Super Soul Farm posse. Haribo. They say Haribo in the background. You can't hear them, but they're here. Good morning. Welcome to Thursday. Miss Mare, what's going on?
Good morning. Tomorrow's our Q&A day. So supporting members of our Sage community platform can post questions there under questions for the hosts in the community chat. And we'll pull questions from there to read and answer on the show tomorrow
what about
at 8
people
a.m.
that aren't members of the Sage community platform?
You should join.
You can't ask questions.
They can ask questions. They can.
They can email us at wisdomofthesages108@gmail.com.
Unless you pay the dues, you don't
We
get
may
your
not
questions
answer them.
answered. And they go to the bottom of the pile. No, anyway, if you want to support our community
It's
platform, please do. You just got to email them in.
Okay.
Right? So what happens? You sign up for the Sage community platform, you make a monthly donation, then the screen changes a little bit.
Well, you have
gives you
access to
access.
things,
It
yeah,
gives you access to secret things,
like community chat.
secret information about your spiritual evolution that you cannot find otherwise.
Take you to the next level.
The deeper.
And there's a next level after that.
Yeah, it's locked. You got to unlock it. You got to get the whole bundle. I love those upselling with unlock it. I gotta unlock it. It's like I gotta unlock this thing. Bundle it. I'm gonna bundle it. I'm gonna get a whole bundle of stuff. Exciting.
All right, Raghunath. Slow it down just a little bit. Where are we going now? Where are we going with this show?
You take it slower.
Should we go over to the nugget now?
The nugget today, we missed it yesterday. We got inspired and detoured. But the nugget today is from your friend and mine, Leonardo da Vinci.
Yeah, we had Michelangelo the other day, and now we got Leonardo.
Leo. Here's what Leo says. Nature has her own logic.
Yeah.
Her own laws. She has no effect without cause, nor invention without necessity. She has no effect without cause, nor invention without necessity. You believe that? You believe that everything that is invented in nature has a necessity? Do you think a wasp has a necessity, sir?
My intuition tells me that this is true.
A wasp.
That the statement itself, that there's no invention without necessity. You know where that came up? You know, like one place that would come up is the appendix.
I bet the appendix does have something to do.
Well,
the tonsils,
until somewhat recently, the common medical, consensus was that it had no purpose.
Yeah, that didn't make sense.
And then you agree with Leonardo, right?
Well, no, because that's not everything. That's everything in your body.
Or at least in terms of that, you agree with Leonardo.
Well, there's also things that we don't understand, like they could be for. Like they could be, like the appendix could be, not that it is, but it could be something for your third eye or something. It gives you a type of deep intelligence. No, it doesn't make the machine run any more smoothly necessarily, but it gives something more subtle, perhaps.
Well, okay,
and maybe the wasp. Maybe I'm not saying the wasp doesn't have a purpose, but maybe it doesn't.
It does.
Okay, so I'm interested. Wasps and hornets kill invasive species of bugs that destroy plants. Actually,
yeah. I mean, the more you dig into those things, the more they find, how the balance of nature all works with all the different species and all that.
Joey, the trucker, surprises me on a regular basis with his.
But I would, from our like Vedic perspective, we could say, yeah, all these different bodies, they kind of develop out of the karma of the individual. You know, that wasp body is a perfect body for the mentality, you know, and the karma to play a certain role in the evolution of this soul.
There is a mentality of a wasp, you're saying.
I'm saying there's a mentality that develops the wasp body.
I hope I'm not doing it right now. Whatever I'm thinking,
Well,
I
reading
hope I'm not.
Bhagavatam is a good way to avoid that. At least that's what it said. But yeah, they said the consensus was that the appendix has no purpose. But then they kind of, do you know what the purpose of the appendix is?
No, I don't.
They say it's to collect bacteria, like helpful bacteria, right? So that like certain disease like dysentery or something will flush out the entire colon of both bad and good bacteria. So to replenish the bacteria in the colon, then you have that appendix, which is like a little
You and I grew up in the
petri
dark
dish.
ages, didn't we?
Without this crucial knowledge about the appendix.
Well, it's sort of like, yeah, it's knowledge. They would just like take them out. You have sore tonsils. The cure for sore tonsils when I was little was like eat ice cream.
Yeah.
I'm like, real? Okay, great.
I don't think that was the cure. I think that was what you would do after you got is it tonsillectomy?
tonsils?
After they remove your
Of course.
tonsils,
They don't do that.
they would tell you to eat
ever
ice
get
cream.
your tonsils out?
No, I didn't. I still.
That was a thing, though, right? They
Did
would
you
tell
get yours out?
No.
Oh.
Does
didn't.
anybody get their tonsils out anymore? I never
don't
hear
know.
of
Do
that.
they
think
still
so.
bloodletting?
All right. But anyway, there's two statements here, right? He's observing nature and he's saying that there's no effect without cause.
Mm-hmm.
And the law of cause and effect. You've heard of the law of cause and effect.
Yes.
That's
that.
from my research. That's not a scientific law. That's like more of a philosophical law, right? Like that's the thing in philosophy rather than in science. Although it seems to leak into science, or it seems to be almost I don't know, assumed or intuited, and so it finds its way into scientific theories and so on. Although, like scientifically, it hasn't been proven that every effect has a cause.
Mm.
But it's certainly our understanding, the Vedic understanding, is that regarding the material energy, right? We say we take the whole science thing and we say, if this is at all going to make sense, you have to understand that there's two different types of energy. Once you have that figured out, then you're looking at a whole new ball game, right?
Mm.
So within the material energy, it is a realm that is governed by a law called karma. It is a realm wherein every effect has a cause, and that's like you take a murder with any kind of mystery in life, especially within the material realm, right? We observe an effect, and then we search for the cause, and then when you get to that cause, then you look at that cause as an effect itself, and then you try to find the cause for that effect, and you keep going back in the chain, backwards.
What
in a chain
is
of
the
effects and
cause
causes.
of all causes?
Yeah, well, like let's take a murder, right? You see there's a body lying on the ground. That's an
7:15.
effect.
We're already talking about murder. Okay. Here's a typical Wisdom of the Sages episode here. Let's
Okay,
go.
so you see a body lying in a room on the ground. That's an effect. There's a dead body. What's the cause of it being dead, right?
Someone killed. Yeah.
Well, okay, there's a bullet inside the body. Okay, that's the cause.
Murder.
But what caused that bullet to enter into the body? Or I'm sorry, it's the cause of the person being dead, but we can look at it as an effect and what caused the bullet to go into the body. Then you say, well, there was a gun. There's a murder weapon. We have to find that cause. Oh, there's the gun. Can we link it up to the bullet, through forensic science? Okay, now what caused the gun to be fired? There has to be a person that did that, right? Can we take this chain back one more link and find the person that did it? Okay, now that person was the cause of the bullet being fired, right? And then what caused them to fire it? What was their motive? And like that, you just kind of keep going back until you get to the important cause, at which point you kind of solve the mystery, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so we naturally do that with trying to understand the world that we're living in. We look at the world as a realm of cause and effect. But it remains a mystery for materialists, and it will always remain a mystery for materialists, because there always is going to be one cause further back, further back, further back when you're just examining the material energy. Now, our position is that the material energy, you see, the materialists say that life develops out, is an effect, and material energy is the cause. And we say, no, no, no. Life is a completely different kind of energy it's independent of material energy. And the material energy is generated out of life, right? And life doesn't operate with the same laws as the material energy. Life is eternal. Life is conscious, right? Consciousness is not an effect of material energy. It exists eternally as it is. And so there's this eternal energy which causes material energy and keeps it moving through cycles of cause and effect. And when you look at the universe that way, then you actually have an answer to how the whole thing is working. Because otherwise, no matter how much you learn about the material energy, you still don't know, what happened before the Big Bang, and then they come up with, all different kind of theories that are just really purely speculation.
Yeah, a lot of guesswork, because we're living, it's like, imagine sometimes, you're a little kid, you crawl under your mom's bed. You're like living under your bed and trying to figure out, if you were just like born under that bed, you can't figure out the kitchen. Right. You can't figure out the front yard. You can't, even if you're like, well, maybe there's something else outside this room. It's just guesswork.
Right. And how I think we tend to become impressed or intimidated by modern science, because they have figured out so much. But when you actually, like, for instance, if you look into theories about like what was before the Big Bang, it's just like, it's crazy wild theories. Like, maybe there are unlimited universes and this is just the one. That's like one theory. Maybe this happened, maybe that happened. I was watching one video where a famous scientist was speaking about this and going through different theories, and then occasionally he would stop and say, now, although people might say that this is very speculative, there is research to show that this speculation is grounded in science. But it's like, yeah, you take the tiniest little bit of science and then you speculate an incredibly broad theory about where the universe came from. It's they're stepping into a realm of thinking that is beyond really their scientific experiments and what's been established through their scientific experiments.
There's so much ego to think that we can even know, we could even speculate, and that our science, what good is our science if we've lived under the bed our entire life? And I've never seen a front lawn. I've never seen a kid on his bicycle on his front lawn. I don't understand even what a kitchen is.
Yeah, you could say,
based on hear some noises. I hear some noises downstairs. I hear some noises outside.
You could say, based on our studies under the bed, what we're thinking about what's going on like 5 blocks away is grounded in, those speculations are grounded in stuff that we've discovered under this bed.
Under the bed.
That doesn't mean that it's true at all. And it doesn't mean that what you've discovered under the bed is in any way capable or suitable for understanding what's going on 5 blocks away.
Yeah, it's almost at that point, it's just sort of like, how dare you? How you dare you get up with this microphone and try to explain it like we should take you seriously.
Right. So
I know you paid a lot of money for your schooling, and I know you've got a PhD, but it really means nothing at this point when you start talking about things that you may never be able to perceive.
Right. So what we're saying is we're both under the bed, both us and the atheists. We're both under the bed. But we're saying we have a book under the bed, and this book is telling us what's going on 5 blocks away. Now the question is this book reliable?
Yeah. Is it real? Is it a fantasy? Is it a myth?
Yeah. Let's take this book right in our own, staying underneath the bed, right? Yeah. We'll stay right here underneath the bed, but we'll see if this book helps us understand what's going on underneath the bed. And the more that we can see that is consistent in helping us understand how valuable it is, how consistent it is in its knowledge about what's underneath the bed, the more that we can put faith in it that what it's telling us that's happening 5 blocks away is accurate. And so we're saying, yeah, there is a manual to the universe. There's a manual to what's beyond this universe. And it's this absolutely fascinating, incredible philosophical, poetic works of Vyasadeva, you know, the Upanishads and the Bhagavad Gita and the Srimad Bhagavatam and the other Puranas. Engage with it. Take it seriously. Don't just blow it off as, you know, blow it off as myth. Look, it's talking about the same things that the scientists are talking about. It was written down so many centuries ago. And it really holds up quite well. At least before you begin to throw out all these possibilities, like there's an intelligence behind it, which is like a really logical conclusion to come to. Engage with it seriously. And that's what we're going to do today. Are you ready to engage seriously?
Back to talking, praying elephants.
Yes. Yes.
Now
Now an elephant is going to tell us where the universe came from. And,
it's a celestial elephant. Don't worry about that. Can it fly? Of course it can't fly. It just lives in the celestial regions. Rayanam Namaskrityanam Chaivanaratamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tatojayam Madirayat. Before we start in the Srimad Bhagavatam, which is our very means of conquest, one should offer respectful obeisances to the Supreme Lord Narayan. Unto Narayan Rishi, the supermost human being, to Mother Saraswati, the goddess of learning, to Srila Vyasadeva, the author. Nasta Prayeshu Badreshu Nityam Bhagavat Sevaya Bhagavati Uttamasloke. Bhakti Bhavati Naistiki, by regular attendance in classes in the Bhagavatam and by rendering service to the pure devotees. All that is troublesome to the heart will become eradicated, and loving service to the Supreme Lord, who is praised with transcendental songs, will be established as an irrevocable fact. Om Gyana Tamarandasya Gyananjana Shalakaya Chakshurun Midatam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. I was born in the darkness of ignorance. My teachers opened my eyes with the torchlight of knowledge. I offer my obeisances at their lotus feet.
Yes.
You know what? I really like how we teased out that under the bed analogy, because
Okay.
a lot of the Vedic teachings. First of all, imagine being under the bed. It's sort of like you're cramped, you're sort of claustrophobic.
It's dark.
And a lot of the information from Vedic teachings are like how to be peaceful under the bed, right? How to be thoughtful and mindful, how to be healthy under the bed.
Yeah, I'm living a better life under the bed.
I'm living a better life here.
Hey,
Hey, and then after a while, you start to realize, all right, whatever this book is, it's got some information about how to be better in this horrible situation under the bed. We're all in a horrible situation. Now, some of us may be like a little bit more freer than others. We're like, well, you're tied down. I got nothing. I'm hitchhiking around America. I'm like, you know, I'm going into Zion National Park or whatever, the Grand Canyon. I'm feeling free. Well, great. You're free, but you got to understand there's people who are in war-torn countries. They're running for their life. They're experiencing horror every day. You might be free, but a lot of people, their bed is a little bit more cramped than yours. The bed is a little lower. And so these teachings teach you how to have some peace underneath the bed. Yeah. But then the bed starts, or then the book rather starts with the bed. The book starts offering you other information, like not just how to be peaceful, not how to be healthy under the bed, not how to thrive under the bed, but how to actually understand what's outside of this realm. It gives
out
you like
from under the bed.
Glimpses. And then while you're under the bed, you could feel like you're in some I don't know where we can go with this. How do you be in this world and of this world with the bed analogy?
Well, if you're reading about what's beyond the bed in the bed, you may actually begin to experience what's outside the bed, even while you're underneath the bed.
Yeah.
But what if people started saying, well, your book about all this so-called stuff going on beyond the bed,
yeah,
is the cause of all kinds of trouble underneath the bed. All these people that are reading this book underneath the bed, they're using it to justify all kind of violence and bigotry and
then
so on.
I would say, you know what? You're making claims that book is making that problem. There's already hell going on under that bed anyway. Who are you kidding? Even without these books,
People are
there's
misusing
hell.
the book.
People are fighting and stabbing each other underneath the bed at all times for millennia.
Yeah,
Don't
they're just.
think the book's got everything to do with it.
Oh, that's right. That's right. Okay.
This bed is miserable.
This is a big bed.
It's a big, giant bed. We're all
Yeah.
crushed under there.
All right.
All right.
Text 15.
Text
The
15.
elephant reveals the secrets of the universe.
Ooh, I
Talking
like that.
elephant.
The talking celestial elephant.
Is he talking, or is he just saying this within?
Or is he
saying
talking
it
like in
with
an
his-
elephant language? And do the other animals understand that language?
I don't know. I don't know.
My Lord, you are the cause of all causes,
There you go.
but for yourself, but you yourself have no cause. Right? That's the old, oh yeah, God created everything? Who created God? Ever hear that
Okay.
one?
Yeah, so we'll talk about this, but yeah.
Well, therefore, you are the wonderful cause of everything.
Okay.
I offer my respectful.
It's significant here. The word used is abhuta karna, the wonderful cause. And I think Prabhupada's using, like, when we say wonderful, normally we mean like great or
Right. It's
pleasant.
Like wonderful means like more fantastic.
For him, wonderful means like the cause of wonder, right?
Right.
Okay, but we'll come back to that too. Please
I
continue.
offer my respectful obeisances unto you, who are the shelter of the Vedic knowledge contained in the Shastras like the Pancharatras and the Vedanta Sutra, which are your representations, and who are the source of the Parampara system. Because it is you who can give liberation, you are the only shelter for all transcendentalists. Let me offer my respectful obeisances to you.
Okay.
These are people who are so overwhelmed by God, they can't do anything except appreciate God. That's what these prayers are. They're so overwhelmed by the presence of God. They're so steeped in God realization that all they can do is appreciate.
Yeah. Well, he will do a little service though, right? He's gonna reach down and take a lotus flower in his trunk and hold it up.
Yeah.
But maybe that would be a nice tattoo for you, Raghunath. You could get this trunk that's kind of like wrapping around your body, and then like come up like across your chest and be holding like a lotus flower in the trunk.
Can you design my tattoo for me? Thank you.
What do you think?
I was thinking about like, what would Kostuba like me to get tattooed on my body? Like, didn't I say that this morning? what would please Kostuba?
It would please me.
Oh, okay. I can take note of that, Vera.
So it's bringing up this natural question, right? This common, and maybe the most common question: where does everything come from? Where did the universe come from? You know, and he uses it. Actually, Raghunath, there's beautiful alliteration in this verse.
Oh, is there? Tell me.
Namo,
Sanskrit?
Yeah, in the Sanskrit. Namo namaste kilakaranaya. Nishkaranayad puta karanaya sarvagamanyaya mahanavaya namo pavargaya parayanaya. Coming from an elephant.
Coming from the rhyming elephant. The rhyme. What was that? The rhinoceros. The rhyme.
Yeah.
Hippopotamus and the rhinoceros.
Yeah.
Okay.
So
that was more of a rhyme than an alliteration, but it was.
I'm not even going to get into it with you. This entire week, you're just constantly. Something's gotten into him this week. I'm just going to let that go. You're the cause of all causes. Okay, he's saying that just that concept right there, right, is kind of contradicting what Leonardo said. He was saying that every effect has a cause, and except when you go into flip it over to the spiritual energy, right? Then you get this cause of all causes that he calls the Adbhuta Karna, this wondrous cause. Why is it wondrous? Because it's a cause that has no cause itself, right? When you look at the material energy, that we accept that's working under the law of cause and effect, right? That's there in our own actions, in the law of karma, and we can also look at it and draw that everything, there's always some effect to the cause, and we say that it's going through eternally, that the material energy is going through cycles of creation and creation, maintenance, and destruction. It's just like it's always moving around. But then there's and we are this kind of like unique little drop, right? Little spark of the other energy, of the spiritual energy operating within this world. But our potential is limited in terms of our influence. But that there's outside of it, you could say, or that this is all existing within a spiritual force, a spiritual influence, that is this infinite spiritual consciousness that the universe, you could say it appears out of, but you could also say that the universe is within, right? And that this consciousness is infinite. It's beyond the laws that operate here, the laws of time and the laws of space, right? We live in a world that, for instance, operates according to a law of time. We see that things are constantly moving, everything is changing, the material energy is constantly shifting, and that's because of this particular force called time. These texts are saying that there is a cause of all this that is beyond time. So there's no point at which you say that was created. It's a totally different energy. So if we're looking at material energy, you can come up with a million theories, but even your theories don't ever get to its origin. It'll never come to the point, and which is kind of showing a limitation to the idea that material energy is all that is, because you'll never be able to find out where it got started. We're saying there's an energy that works under completely different laws. And because it's working under completely different laws, it's eternal, and it's what's influencing this. It's what's causing its creation. And you know what? Even before that creation, that material energy was just shifting, before. So the elephant, Gajendra, is identifying Lord Vishnu. You are actually the spiritual cause behind everything. You're the origin to all of this. It's all emanating out of you.
It's almost like the other side trying to figure out how everything's coming from matter. They can't even understand our side because they don't even accept our side exists. We're going to figure it out without believing in a spiritual side. We're like looking at both sides. I feel like we're being a little rational. Here's the material side. Here's the spiritual side. But in their point of view, there is no spiritual side at all. That can't even fit into the equation.
They're not willing to dig that far. If we go to this, I tell you, these texts, the more that you read them and contemplate them and think about them, the more you realize how much they're telling. That this book under the bed, right?
Yeah.
The second canto, the 9th chapter, is such a fascinating chapter.
The magical book under the bed.
That
should be the name of this episode.
Yeah, the magical book under the bed. And that chapter talks about the origin of this particular individual universe. Lord Brahma grows on the lotus flower coming from the navel of Lord Vishnu, right? He's in darkness. He has no idea what to do. What does he do? He does what scientists are doing to this day. He searches out the origin, right? He's going down the stem of the lotus. It's dark. He can't find anything. He climbs back up. He's kind of hopeless. And then he hears a message, right? Tapa, perform austerity. He performs austerity, goes into meditation for a very long time. Vishnu becomes pleased by that. And Vishnu reveals himself to Brahma, right? Shakes his hand and everything, right? And not only that, but it's said that Lord Vishnu there showed him a vision of Vaikuntha. He said, we're sitting here in this bubble of this material world. I'm going to show you what exists beyond this world. And that's what we were hearing about yesterday, right? We heard about like how, what was it that the effect gives you a glimpse of the cause, And so if we look at this material world as an effect, it gives us a glimpse of the spiritual realm, which is its cause,
Mm-hmm.
right? Or which is the source of its reflect. It actually said that this world is a shadow. And by looking at a shadow, you can understand the shape, something about the nature and the shape of what's the origin of the shadow.
Mm.
And so Vishnu shows Brahma this vision of the spiritual realm, and then with that understanding, now he's kind of understands what's outside the bed. I'm still under the bed, but you showed me what's outside of the bed. Now I understand what to do under the bed in order to get out, and in order to help others get out. So then he's given the responsibility to create and design this universe in such a way that people can gradually get realization about what's outside the bed and eventually achieve that liberation. But that chapter leads up to the 4 verses, which are the Chatushloki, the entire message of the Bhagavatam condensed into 4 verses.
Mm-hmm.
Right, and I'll read a bit from that now. Lord Vishnu says to Brahma, please.
Tell us what canto and chapter.
This is the 2nd canto, 9th chapter, and the 4 verses are text 33 through 36.
This is the 4 verses that this is like the original Bhagavatam spoken by
in a
Brahma.
nutshell. Yeah. Do you want me to read all 4?
Yeah.
Okay.
Let's get the whole Bhagavatam done with today.
All right, we're gonna finish it up.
But how can it be the whole Bhagavatam because it doesn't have Krishna's Leela in it?
It's all of it in it. It's in there, but it's like condensed in there. It's like a seed.
It's like
it's a seed.
Concentrated orange juice.
Okay.
It's orange juice, but
Lord Vishnu says, Brahma, it is I, the personality of Godhead, who was existing before the creation.
Mm-hmm.
When there was nothing but myself, right? He's talking about the creation of this particular universe. And at a certain stage, there's just Vishnu in it, right? He says, nor was there the material nature, the cause of this creation. That which you see now is also I, the personality of Godhead. And after annihilation, what remains will also be I.
Mm.
This is all my energy that you're seeing. O Brahma, this is the key to the universe right here, this verse. O Brahma, whatever appears to be of any value, if it is without relation to me, has no reality. Know it to be my illusory energy, that reflection which appears to be in the darkness.
This is the mysterious book underneath the bed. Right
It's giving you
little
everything.
K-Lal, Kostubalal, reading it underneath the bed in his jammies, trying to understand the universe. Go, tell me more.
Yeah. I mean, that verse, we can get into that. It's a bit of another subject, but it's saying like when you see the material energy as unrelated to its origin, you misunderstand everything, right? You will not be able to make sense of it. The only way that it makes sense is in relation to its source. Okay. Then he says, O Brahma, please know that the universal elements enter into the cosmos, and at the same time they do not enter into the cosmos. Similarly, I myself also exist within everything created, and at the same time I exist outside of everything, right? This entire universe is composed of my energy. It's working under my laws, under my supervision, and at the same time I'm outside of it, beyond those laws, beyond the law of cause and effect, beyond the law of time, beyond the laws of space. I'm unlimited, but you're living within a limited world. I'm in that world. I am that world, and I'm also beyond that world, beyond the laws of time and space. And then the last verse. And this gets to what you were saying earlier, Raghunath, is like, unless you know anything about what's outside unless you know anything about spiritual energy, you're never going to figure this out. You have to keep searching. So he says, a person who is searching after the supreme absolute truth must certainly search for it up to the point of understanding me, right? A person who is searching after the supreme absolute truth must certainly search for it up to this in all circumstances, in all space and time, both directly and indirectly. You're going to have to use your inference, right? You're going to have to hear from the right source. You're going to have to reflect and so on. But you have to go beyond, like, we talked about that the other day, right? The scientists are saying that the universe came from a Big Bang.
Mm.
Pierce Morgan is asking Richard Dawkins, right? What was there before the Big Bang? Richard Dawkins is saying it's like you can't really ask that question, right? There was no time. Time began at that point. I think this was Stephen Hawkins. This was what he really put forward. That time began at that point. And this is saying, no, if you stop there, if you stop even considering that there's a possibility of another type of energy that exists beyond your laws, then you're never going to get to the supreme absolute truth. You just won't make it, you know. So our talking elephant has no problem with this, right? He's saying, I get it. There's a cause that it has no cause itself, but that could only be if it exists, if it's composed of an energy that's not bound by the laws that material energy is bound by. It's outside, it's underneath the bed. It's a different kind of energy, the cause of all causes.
On a side note,
Yeah.
You're right. Maybe he wasn't talking in English, like in English. Definitely not English, but maybe he wasn't offering prayers that we can understand. Maybe they were just sort of, he was thinking it, speaking in it.
Well, it was a prayer that he was chanting in his previous life.
Right. So maybe it was in his consciousness. Maybe he was very aware in his consciousness.
He wasn't saying it out loud.
In same way the deer, Judd Bart in the form of the deer came and was aware of his consciousness, and he just snapped into some like, oh yeah, boom, here's that prayer. The other day we were like,
was speaking, that deer was speaking English.
The other day we were like, okay, it's time for Bhagavad Gita. And all of a sudden, like we all went to the living room to sit around like the coffee table and get our Gitas out. And all the pets came over at the exact same time and just and they plopped down like, okay, they want the Gita now too.
Yeah.
All the pets came.
All the pets came.
That is a beautiful scene right there.
It was beautiful. They all got like really comfortable. I was like, these aren't ordinary.
You were kind of like Jesus, like right in the middle of that whole thing, Raga.
I was like Jesus there for a moment. Yes, I was.
All right. Okay, so now he's identified Lord Vishnu as that cause of all causes. That's beyond everything, right? That's providing the Vedic literatures, which is the book underneath the bed, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Right.
Text 16.
My lord, as fire in the Arani wood is covered, right? Arani wood is the wood used in sacrifice, right?
Yeah, it must. We can imagine it must be wood that's dense and burns very nicely, right?
Mm. You and your unlimited knowledge are covered by the material modes of nature. So interesting, right? Your mind, however, is not attentive to the activities of the modes of nature. Those who are advanced in spiritual knowledge are not subject to the regulative principles directed in the Vedic literatures, because such advanced souls are transcendental. You personally appear in their pure minds. Therefore, I offer my respectful obeisances to you.
Could you read that again, please, Harga?
Yeah, my lord, as the fire in Arani wood is covered, you and your unlimited knowledge are covered by the material modes.
Okay.
Yeah. So if we're in the modes, you're not gonna be able to see Krishna. If you're
not going to perceive him.
Dominated by the modes. We were reading this morning in our morning Bhagavad Gita class that, if you're envious of Krishna, in the beginning of the 9th chapter, Krishna is going to explain reality to Arjuna, because Arjuna is non-envious, and envy means I want to be the center. It's not my position to be the center. I'm a tiny part of something bigger. And in my ego, I'm thinking I'm the center. Once I think I'm the center, I'm covered by these gunas. Yeah, the curtain closes, and Krishna, he becomes that, we said, that stick bug, and he just sort of hides, even though he's right in front of your face. Once you realize I'm part of something bigger, I want to approach with a mood of love. Then all of a sudden, the veil drops, the curtain opens, the stick bug becomes present, and maybe pregnant.
Okay, so you're using one analogy of the walking stick.
Yes.
And the elephant, Gajendra, is using another analogy of fire hidden within wood. You're both talking about something hidden that's there, but that you're not necessarily seeing.
It's right in front of your face. That fire is in the wood that you're
The
holding.
fire's in the wood. There's heat in
Yeah.
there.
There's
right?
heat in there. You got to extract it.
Yeah. Okay, so he's saying just as fire is hidden within wood, so Krishna is here for us to see, but we don't perceive him unless if we're influenced by the lower modes, right? Which in the lower modes, you know, like one is an energy of creation and one is an energy of destruction, right? Like the Rajagun is all about creation and the Tamagun is all about destruction. And so while our consciousness is influenced by these modes and absorbed in the material energy, which is just, when we're in it, we can't see deeper. When we observe it, when in a sense we step back from the material energy and observe it, then the truth can begin to emerge, right? So when we're covered by those modes, we don't perceive him. He says, though, and then he says this, those who are advanced in spiritual knowledge are not subject to the regulative principles directed in the Vedic literatures. Here, you know, when we talk about the Vedic literatures, we can mean the Vedas themselves, the 4 Vedas, which are describing how to progress materially, how to get the right material effects, how through your actions, through your rituals, through your sacrifice, through your piety, how your actions can be the cause of satisfying and pleasant effects, right? But those who are advanced in spiritual knowledge, they're not subject to those principles because they've kind of evolved beyond that, right? They've evolved from the platform of karma, the cause and effect, trying to enjoy the cause and effects of this world, and they've advanced to bhakti, which is they're operating on the platform of divine love. And so therefore he appears in their pure minds, in the minds that aren't thinking, what can I get of this material realm? Then he manifests in that pure mind. You know, I think Gajendra must have been thinking, he hasn't been manifest to me, right? I've been so caught up in my material realm as the enjoyer of this realm, thinking myself the enjoyer of the realm.
Sure.
You haven't been manifest in my life, in my consciousness, in my awareness. Now that I've let go of that, now I'm feeling your presence. I'm perceiving your presence.
Yeah. If I'm living in that ego, then I'm covered. Krishna won't appear to me. It's when I become non-envious, meaning I think that yes, Krishna is the center of the universe.
Let him enjoy.
He is the enjoyer. Yeah. He is the controller. This is why the Gita is for everyone. It's not for Hindus. It's a spiritual scripture, of spiritual information, a spiritual guide to get out of the gunas. And once you do that, light starts to come and you start to get direction. Otherwise, in that illusion, I am the center, I am always right, I know everything. We really have to almost like we have to fall to our knees into this position, like I can't control my life, I can't control the universe. This world is a precarious situation. No matter how good I have it, it can crumble in a moment. There can be glue traps and sinkholes and quicksand at every step. No matter how strong I am and how beautiful I am, it's only a matter of time before things start to fade away. And sometimes in that illusion of perfect health and prosperity, I can think, yeah, I am. Like everybody endorses the illusion that I am the center.
That goes right to the verse that we read earlier from the Chatushloki, from the 4 verses. Whatever appears to be of any value, if it is without relation to me, if it is seen as unrelated to me, it has no reality. Know it as my illusory energy, right? It's when it's when, in a sense, we live as if the value of everything is related to us, right? That's when everything is spinning in the wrong direction. You know, it's like, and that's the material energy. The spiritual energy is kind of the origin of that reflection, which everything is spinning in the correct direction. So we look at you know, Prabhupada gives this example, you know, two people look at a flower and one person thinks, oh, let me smell it. And another person thinks, let me offer it.
Mm.
You know, we see everything in relation to us. The person that's seeing reality sees everything in relation to its origin, to Krishna.
So they're seeing the same thing,
Yeah.
but they're seeing two different
But
things.
one's an illusion and one's existing in reality. Yeah.
Okay.
Text 17.
Text 17. Since an animal such as me has surrendered unto you, who are supremely liberated, certainly you will release me from this dangerous position. That's material existence. It's dangerous, huh?
And the crocodile.
Indeed, being extremely merciful, you incessantly try to deliver me. By your partial feature, as the supersoul, Paramatma, you are situated in the hearts of all embodied beings. You are celebrated as direct transcendental knowledge, and you are unlimited. I offer my respectful obeisances to you, the supreme personality of Godhead.
So yeah, now he's really reaching out and saying, I recognize who you are, right? I recognize you as the cause of all causes. I recognize you as that person that reveals himself to those, you know, who are wanting it and asking for it. And I'm also recognizing you as that your nature is that you're kind and merciful, right? That's who you are. So it's almost like he's not even asking for it. He's not saying, please help me. He's kind of saying like, I know that you help, you know, he's just kind of praising him for having that nature. And now he's going to, yeah.
I'm just going to read. I was just reading. That's all.
Oh, I see. Okay, yeah. Next text.
My Lord, those who are completely freed from material contamination. What a nice way to be. Freed from material contamination. Always meditate upon you within the core of their hearts. You got to be free from material contamination. Then you can meditate on Krishna within the core of their hearts. You are extremely difficult to attain for those like me who are too attached to mental concoctions, home, relatives, friends, money, servants, assistants. None of it's ours. We have to let go of everything to get to a pure state of meditation. And the material world is designed to make you lose faith in those things. You lose faith in your home. You lose faith in your relatives. You lose faith in your friends. You lose faith in your money as all things that are you and part of your identity.
Yeah, that revolve around you. Right?
Yeah. You are the supreme personality of Godhead, uncontaminated by the modes of nature. You are the reservoir of all enlightenment, the supreme controller. I therefore offer my respectful obeisances to you. You know, because this is why I like this new fad that's happening is people are getting into bhakti at later stages of their life.
It's a fad?
Because it's well, whatever it is, it's new.
Trend?
We were getting
Okay,
into it's
yeah.
a trend. We were getting into it. We're gonna have to check the data on that as time goes on. The insights, see if it holds up. But back when we were young, it was the material life had so much hope. That's part of being young. You look
Right.
up at life. You have so many years ahead of you. I'm only 18 years old. Look what I could do. Look at all my options. Look, I could do whatever I want. You could be whatever you want in this world. And then as you get older, people get into bhakti. They've been around the block, so to speak. They're 45. They've been through a marriage. They've been through a loss of a loved one. Maybe they've lost a child. Maybe they've lost a parents. Maybe they've lost all their money. Maybe they've lost their home. Maybe they've been through a bankruptcy. Maybe they've, you start to realize the precarious situation of being in the material world. Actually, and how your window of opportunity is closing. And then when you hear the Bhagavatam, and it sort of is cynical about material joy,
Right.
you start to think it's not cynical about joy. It's cynical about your faith in the material world, because the return on investment in materialism is very low. The return on investment in your spiritual life, that's very high. That's a huge return. And what you have to get to this point where you're a little bit cynical, a little bit hopeless in material existence, and that's a very beautiful thing. That's not a horrible thing. That's a wonderful thing. We
Yeah,
have hope.
it's a kind of like a mature kind of relaxed in a sense, like relaxed in the sense that like it's not like we're saying, oh no, my home and my family and my money and all of that's going to disappear. It's not like a frantic
Yeah.
kind of destitution. It's kind of like a, oh, I had never thought about it deeply enough because I was always focused on trying to enjoy the material energy. But now I'm recognizing that the very nature of it, its enjoyment is very flickering, and then it disappears. I've accepted it, and I can accept it because I have a solid foundation on which I thought that was the foundation I was standing on, but actually it's not. There is a solid spiritual foundation that I'm standing on, and I can sit there and I can even watch it disappear without fear.
Yeah, that's what's happening without fear.
Yeah. All right.
I think it's time, Miss Mara.
Yeah, bring on Mara.
It's time.
For you
got,
to read
Mara?
them. All right,
time
I got
for
some
me
good
to read the
takeaways.
message.
Yeah. Material realm is governed by cause and effect.
Mm-hmm.
We're studying what's under the bed and speculating about what's 5 blocks away.
Okay.
Dust bunnies.
There's
I love
nothing
that
but
word.
dust bunnies
dust
out there.
bunny. A bunch of dust bunnies in the dust bunnies of the material world.
Vishnu is the cause of all causes, providing the magical book under the bed.
That's right.
For little Kastubala.
In his
It is
jammies.
jammies with the feet in them.
Bhagavatam.
Come on, you know what I'm talking about.
What did you say? I didn't hear.
You
what
had
said.
jammies with the feet in them.
Oh, feet. Okay.
Yeah. Kastubala.
Bhagavatam teaches us how to be healthy and peaceful under the bed.
Under the bed. In bed.
The rhyming, talking celestial elephant reveals the mystery of the universe.
That's
That is a children's book right there. What is it? What did you say? The rhyming,
Talking celestial
the
elephant.
rhyming, talking, celestial
Celestial
elephant.
Speaker of truth.
Spiritual energy isn't subject to material laws. Vishnu manifests in a pure mind.
We're the dust bunnies from Richmond.
All right.
In
A little
reality,
late on that one, but fine.
he's reading the message board.
Oh, I see. Okay.
In reality, it's only valuable in its relation to God.
Say it again.
In reality, it's only valuable in its relation to God.
Yeah.
Okay.
Return on investment in spiritual life is very high.
No doubt.
Compound interest.
And what tattoo would please Kastupaji?
A big dust bunny.
I really like the name Dust Bunny for a band, actually.
How about Echo and the Bunnymen? What was that all about?
Yeah, I know what was that about. I never listened to them. Echo and the Bunny Man.
Echo and the Bunnymen.
Hey, everybody! Saturday. When's Rath Yatra? Philly Rath Yatra's this weekend. Tomorrow.
That's right.
And we're gonna have new Wisdom of the Sages merch there. Yvette and crew are gonna be selling merch. So if you like this shirt I'm wearing today,
That's like the original shirt, except it's on blue.
it's on light blue. Got some cool hoodies. Got some stuff. Check out.
Punk to Monk books too.
We
for
got some
sale.
Punk to Monk books down there. And you might say, well, I already have it. And I say,
Double it.
double that. Double that. But anyway, check out Lord Jagannath most of all.